Hey there, everyone. My name is Sydney Rico. I'm an intern with the Global Collab, and I'm here with Jeff Schweitzer, former Assistant Director of Foreign Affairs at the White House and conservationist, to talk about his reef photography and work in conservation. Great to have you, Jeff.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we'll get right into it. So to start off, just kind of an icebreaker, what is your favorite coral and favorite reef fish and why?
So my favorite coral would be soft coral because of their vibrant neon colors and the way they sway in the current. It's mesmerizing. A hard coral, my favorite hard coral would be staghorn coral, not only because of their beautiful shape, but because they also are a little bit of a canary in a coal mine. They're one of the first corals to bleach. So they give us a little bit of a warning. And then in terms of my favorite reef fish, I would have to say the damselfish. It's a hard one because there are a lot of beautiful reef fish. But the damselfish are amazing. They're these little guys that are fearless in protecting their territory. They just don't care how big you are. They'll just take on anybody and anything that gets into their face. And they're absolutely fearless about it. They'll come up and nip you on the mask, bite your fingers. They're just comical.
Wow. That's really interesting. Okay, so we'll move on to what some strides being taken by conservationists are that give you hope for the future of our reefs.
So really the only effective means of conserving ocean resources is through marine protected areas, MPAs. A great example of that is Roatan, an island off the coast of Honduras, where the entire island is basically a large marine protected area. And you can see it in the health of the reef and the abundance of fish there. Globally, there are about 9,600 MPAs covering almost 13 million square miles. And in those areas, illegal fishing has been reduced almost 90%. So MPAs are really an important means of protecting our resources, our marine resources. And of course, then we have to elect officials who understand that and pass laws that allow us to continue to protect those marine protected areas. And then we also have to have individual countries pass laws that promote sustainable fisheries. And that means, reducing bycatch to protect turtles and mammals and all the other animals that are caught as bycatch in nets. And then also we have to outlaw and then enforce the laws that fight against destructive trawling practices. So those are some of the primary means of protecting our marine resources.
Absolutely. All right. Okay, so we'll move on to what is one change that people listening right now can make to benefit our troubled reefs?
Well, I'm going to give you more than one because I think it's
Perfect.
important to do more than one thing. First of all, I think there's some really easy things we can do as individuals. For example, like using safe sunscreen. Use sunscreens without microplastics and those that don't contain oxybenzone or octinoxate, for example. Very destructive to reefs. Donate to marine parks, the ones that we just talked about. And if you're a diver, definitely look but don't touch. Stay off the reef, enjoy the reefs, enjoy their beauty, but don't touch them or kick them. And then more broadly, we have to do everything we can to fight climate change, because climate change is one of the most destructive forces that are impacting our coral reefs and our ocean resources. But I think the most important thing you can do is vote. You have to vote for people who understand the importance of conserving our environment. We have to get politicians in power who are willing to work with us to protect the environment.
Those are definitely some important words that we all certainly can heed, and I appreciate it. Okay.
Sure.
Lastly, so you film and produce breathtaking videos of the underwater world. What is the message surrounding conservation that you hope to accompany your content?
It's a really good question. So I do think those underwater videos should have a message, and here's the message that we want to convey. So coral reefs are incredibly important in the ocean. They only cover about 1% of the ocean, but they are important for preserving about 25% of all fish species. And those fish species feed about 1 billion people. So the coral reefs, and that's just the tip of the iceberg of the ecological functions of coral reefs. But they're also beautiful. Just for no other reason then their beauty, we need to conserve them. It reminds us that nature is amazing and wondrous. And so I think because we're visual apes, I hope that the films, even for non-divers, can show what incredible beauty these reefs are, and that beauty alone will induce people to preserve them.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate you being here with us today. Jeff, would you like to note any social media channels or ways or websites that people can reach you at or reach out to
Sure,
you?
I invite everyone to go to my website, which is jeffschweitzer.com, and you can post the how to spell my name on with this video. But
Perfect.
yeah, go to my website, and I talk about a lot of these issues, and also I'm very active on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, so you can find me on any of those social media.
Alrighty, well, that is about time to wrap up, and thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, really appreciate it.